Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, the Niche Navigator, coming to you live with another episode. How would you like to feel healed? And why is therapy good for you? And why are some practitioners using Eastern and Western modalities to cure people? But then, in the first place, why is there pain? My guest today is Pati Mariposa, and she's here from Florida, and she's going to talk to us about different modalities and why she does what she does. So welcome to Munira's Musings. Munira's Musings showcases a new person every week where we talk to them about their journey to their niche.
Munira Zahabi, the Niche Navigator, is a niche strategist. She is an international author, speaker, and influencer. She is an entrepreneur from Chicago, Illinois. Through her business, she has influenced many people to navigate their niche. She passionately believes that all people have a niche but are afraid to explore the deep, dark waters within themselves and take a voyage through the raging waters within to find it. Munira's mission is to integrate the concept of nicheology, businessology, and confidenceology. She's also been a co-author of a number of books. She is the Ish, Journeys of Womanhood, Life is a Gift, Calling All Earth Angels and Healers, Heartfelt Business Lessons, Tips for Your Success, Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors. Let's welcome to the platform, Munira Zahabi.
So without further ado, let's talk to Pati. Pati, welcome to Munira's Musings.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be a guest with other people who are dedicated to helping others elevate, but not only elevate, to be educated and learn from professionals in their field and experts. So I appreciate and honor to be here.
Thank you, thank you. You're most welcome. So tell me a little bit about you, Pati. Let's start from there.
Yeah, so my name again is Pati. I go by Pati Mariposa. Mariposa is not my actual name. It's a name that has been given to me throughout the years, and I've kept it. I like it because Mariposa in Spanish means butterfly. And for me, I'm constantly in a state of transformation, and I help clients and other people that I work with help transform their pain into inner peace. And I'm a native of Miami, Florida, which is now a rarity because there's so many people that come in and out of Miami. And I was born to Cuban parents, so I got to live in a bicultural home. So they would speak Spanish. We would sometimes speak Spanish, but primarily speak English. And fast forward now, still living in Miami and now married to a Colombian. So I am still living in a bicultural home where I speak with him in Spanish, and then I do a lot of my work in English. Although I do also have Spanish speaking clients. So it's great to just kind of stay in that biculturalism. And then here in Miami, the majority of people speak both English and Spanish.
And Miami is a melting pot, right? It's so beautiful. I used to work there for a while, and I used to go there for work when I used to work in my corporate career. And there's so many different cultures and people, languages, food even, it is so amazing, and it's just a colorful place that you want to be around. So I like Miami for that sense. So you say you heal people. So talk to me a little bit about healing people.
Yeah. And I'd just like to kind of differentiate of I help people in their healing process, because a lot of times when people hear like, oh, you're going to heal me, or you can help me heal, a lot of people, especially when they're coming from a place of desperation and a lot of pain and trauma, they get really caught onto this concept of healing. And healing, the way that I come through it is through awareness. So, one, helping people to become aware of what could be causing the pain, what could be causing them to push away from other people or be nervous around other people, or if their body is showing up in physical pain, what does that really mean? Does it mean, well, it's just an isolated event? Or is the body saying that there's danger coming, or that there's some unhealed trauma that's in their bodies? So many different things. So we always start with a conversation, very similar to this, where I get to ask, be the interviewer and ask various questions like, what's going on? When did this start? How long has it been going on? How has it affected your day to day? Some people, as much as they don't want pain, they also realize the pain is giving them some kind of freedom or some kind of um, appreciation or acknowledgement, right? And so we kind of notice that and check in, well, how is that pain or problem serving you? And if they step again into a place of awareness, they're like, well, it was helping me in this, this, and this, and this, but now I don't want it to help me like that anymore. Like, okay, then we figure out through the variety of tools that I have, or I connect them with other professionals that can help in specific areas to make sure that they're getting what I call their holistic care. And holistic means whole person, not just alternative modalities, which a lot of people assume that means.
So it's not like you don't use medicine, you use mindset training and um, Reiki and all that stuff, energy healing and all that, right?
Mhm.
I mean, do you do physical therapy on them, or like moving the bones, or that is it just mind talking, or just talk to me so that we can ease the pain?
Yeah, so I don't use medicine in the contemporary way, like you take a pill and there it goes, or like a liquid. I use energy medicine. So I help the body either virtually or even in person, because energy transcedes time and space. There is no such thing as time nor space in energy. So whatever I'm doing in the present is also affecting things that have happened to them in the past. I
So
know, kind of
how
like mind blowing, but basically the idea is to help the body to relax. And that can be done in a variety of ways, either through talking, through meditation, through Reiki. Once the body's relaxed, it starts letting go of whatever causes it stress.
so how did you get into this line of work?
Yes, so I've always loved helping people, and when I was kind of like in getting my associate's degree, I still didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life. I'm still kind of on that path. I'm like, I don't know everything, but I definitely always move forward. And I remember doing an aptitude test for a career. And what really stood out was teaching and social work or therapy. And teaching, I was like, I don't know if I had this concept of like teaching in like middle school or high school. Like, man, I don't want to do that. And then social work, what I really enjoy about it is that it can serve in so many different ways. So I was helping in small groups. I'm in individual, like private one-on-one therapy. And so I've been doing that for over 20 years in a variety of ways. But how I got into energy work, just like everybody got into anything that transformed their life, is when I was actually on my way I was wrapping up. I served in the Peace Corps in El Salvador. It was great. I love that experience. I think everybody should join the Peace Corps. And I was on my way to graduate school to get my dual masters in social work and public health. And my sister, I remember a phone call from my brother. It was kind of like still in transition. And my brother calls me and says, I have some bad news. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? He's like, our sister has cancer. Oh, so that was like huge. We didn't understand. Obviously, when somebody gets that news, we want to explore a lot of different things. The doctors immediately were like, you need to get on chemo, you need to get radiation. And my sister at that point was, let me see. And my whole family was like, wait, what do you mean? You can't just let me see cancer. But she was like, yep, let me understand it. So she went on her journey to learn about what causes cancer. And so she got introduced to the books by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. She understood that the cancer was in her throat, and the throat is related to communication. And as she was starting to bring up memories of her past, in which as a child, she had a very horrific situation happen. And when she went to go speak up about it, she was shut down. So that's ended up being like common for her, that she would speak up and then somebody would push her away or shut her down. So did that trauma cause her cancer? No one really knows. But again, what we're learning is traumas can affect the body, and the body, when it can't handle things very much, it does turn into some form of chronic health issue. And I have seen that time and time again. So her journey, even though she did pass away a year and a half later, what she taught me, because I joined her on her journey to learn, to understand about the chakras, to understand different healing modalities that could help her. And what I could say, that even though, of course, none of us wanted her to pass away, and she did, she left in the most peaceful way. And I was able to be there with her, to comfort her and to acknowledge a lot of things that we're going through. And she was just like, I'm okay. I'm good to go. And even now in death, she's been gone now 12 years. She is still a huge part of everything that I do. Some of my clients see her in our healing sessions. My husband has seen her. So she's still present, like still checking in on you, little sis. And if it wasn't for energy medicine, I wouldn't have known that was possible.
I see. Okay, so a trauma, usually that's how people get into this, right? So you learned what this could do for you, and then how did you start into Reiki and all that?
Yeah, so I learned Reiki around the time that my sister was sick, also in 2009. So in 2009, she was diagnosed. I started graduate school and I learned Reiki and I moved to a new city. So that was a lot. And I learned Reiki there with the idea of helping my sister, because that's what the Reiki teacher said. Oh, you can learn this to help your sister with cancer. I'm like, yes, I want that. Fast forward a few years later, after she passed away, I walked away from Reiki because I was like, this doesn't work. This sucks. I was mad. Of course, I was going through the stages of grief, which I learned about. Yet Reiki kept coming back to me. So people kept coming up to me being like, I'm stuck. I don't know how to relax. I don't know how to do things. And I just kept receiving messages of how to help people. And so now everything that I do involves Reiki, such as my daily self-care. When I do meditations in the morning, right before I start work. I clear my energies. even while I'm doing things, if I find a physical pain, right, like something like a headache or anything going on, I give myself Reiki is the first go-to. And then I teach it. I teach Reiki in the first level as a way for self-care. So I always tell people you can help others, but until you can help yourself, give yourself these times to just take a couple minutes to take a deep breath, to go for a walk, to connect with yourself. You're really going to burn out at some point because you can't give so much and not give to yourself. So that's how I teach it.
Perfect. So, can you tell us, tell the listeners what three things that they should do every day to heal themselves first?
Yeah, so I mean, it really depends. There's no one size fits all. The most important thing, though, is to my first question I always ask is, what's your main source of stress? And if they're like, my main source of stress is work, I say, okay, break it down. What about work stresses you out? So my reasoning with that is when you find out what exactly is causing you stress, then you can start looking for a solution. So if your stress is maybe an employer who's overwhelming you, okay, so perhaps taking a class on conflict resolution, how you can show up to be a better speaker, to not allow your boss or anybody talk down to you. So learn those ways to stand up for yourself in a confident way, because that's also an area a lot of people struggle with is confidence. So that would be one thing, like just sit down and be like, okay, what really causes me stress? And then what can I do about it? Other things, a second is meditation. And you don't have to know how to meditate. I mean, really, a lot of people think meditation is very difficult, but the simplest thing is listen to a guided meditation. There's so many. You can download Calm or Insight Timer or Headspace or even YouTube. Put on the headphones and let somebody else do the work. Let them guide you. Even 5 minutes a day is enough to bring your body from stress response to reset and to calm down. Taking deep breaths is also helpful and can be part of meditation. And really, the third one is identifying who you're around. If you're around people who are constantly empowering you, making you laugh, like you're mentioning, Munira, you're around your grandchild a lot, and just being around grandchildren or children in general and playing with them. Playing is so important, especially as an adult. So I have 3 cats. I'm constantly playing with them. I'm doing things that bring joy to my life because that reduces stress. So I would say play, identify your source of stress, and meditation.
Okay, perfect. So I love those, and this is such a wonderful subject because it's been coming up a lot in the show lately. But I want to know why people get stressed, and what is the one thing that they should not do when they can identify it. So one of the things is, how do you identify it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, a lot of people get stressed primarily because of their thinking of stress. So, for example, a lot of my clients, when we start having conversations, they identify who their stressor is and then start having conversations with their stressor without that person there. So, what I mean is, like, if they're saying, well, I think he's going to say this, or I think he's going to say that, so they're creating a dialogue that may or may not be true, and they're causing them unnecessary stress because we really have no idea what someone else is going to say unless we specifically go to them. Like we can assume, but a lot of times that is wrong. Or maybe the way that we're approaching it the person didn't hear it or understand it. So that's a lot of times a big source of stress, is the fear of what will others think or say. And so we basically create our own drama, or I call it our own soap opera series, without even bringing in the characters.
I love
They're
that.
all in our head. So that's like a huge stressor.
I love the fact that you create your own drama, because we do. We talk ourselves into some things that even hasn't happened, or in the sense of the law of attraction, we make it happen because we are always talking about it or thinking about it, and then we say, "You see, I thought about that," but had you not thought
Exactly.
about it, it wouldn't have happened. So I can see that. And then there's times when you feel like you are a little hamster on the wheel, where you're just, and like I read somewhere that worry is like sitting on a rocking chair and rocking and not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's perfect with what you're saying. But thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have a guest who shares their insight, but unfortunately we have such limited time, and thank you so much for the pointers you've given. Now, if everybody else likes this show and they want to do something, go ahead and join my group that's called Niche Strategies, because we share strategies about creating your ideal life and business strategies that can also help you in your everyday life. And it's called Niche Strategies on Facebook. And just join us and have a good time, because we have a good time in the group. Thank you, everybody. If you'd like to be a guest on Munira's Musings, go ahead and message me on Facebook Messenger, and we can go from there. Thank you, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group.